Good morning. This is Robert Goodman here on Positive Stroke, Staying Clean. I'm so happy that you are here, and we're going to talk about something about recovery, living life on life's terms. When you've come from active addiction and you come into recovery and you work the program of recovery and you have completed the 12 steps of the program, and you're working your way to better things that you have not had before, or you're living your best life. And most people say, well, this is the program. This is it. This is the it. We've done the 12 steps. We've done what we needed to do for the program of recovery, and we're at this level, and we've completed what we needed to do. Now we can move on to other things. That's it. No, 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 no. Recovery is a lifestyle. Most important point, number one, we all are imperfect people and we make mistakes. We can't get around that. We can't change that. What we can do is we can try to watch ourselves so we make less mistakes. So, with that, the program of recovery says we must clean the wreckage of our past. So that means that we are continually making wreckage because we're going to make mistakes. Not like we want to make mistakes, it's just that we are imperfect and we look at things a certain way and it may not be right. So we created a problem. And when we look at ourselves as imperfect people, then we don't carry that weight of trying to be perfect because it'll never happen. So we're all imperfect people. We all make mistakes. We all look at things differently. Look at the same problem. It's like when I was in management, I can give 10 people the same task and they will show me 10 different ways to get it done in the same amount of time. Why? Because each person looks at it differently. And to me, it didn't matter because it got done. But that gets you to understand how people think. Everybody thinks differently. We may agree on certain things, but we all think differently. So, I learned in my recovery that once I've completed 12 steps, that the focus had to be solely on Robert. Because Robert makes mistakes. Robert has a history of acting on feelings and emotions in his past, in his addiction, because of the pain, trauma that happened in his life. So when certain situations fit the criteria of my past, I do feel a certain way. But by the wisdom of recovery and paying attention to myself, I understand that's a feeling from the pain from the past. That is not the truth of the situation and the problem I'm facing today. Just because I'm clean and sober and I have time, these emotions still affect me. But me understanding myself will determine if I give it credence or power over me. See, what I realized is that since I'm an imperfect person, it's very important that I pay attention to myself. Because when I do, I make less mistakes. But here is a roadblock that a lot of people run into. And I ran into it myself. Not admitting to the mistake that I made. Trying to sweep it up under the rug to let I didn't want nobody to know that I made that mistake. I didn't want nobody to know, so I swept it up under the rug, hiding. But recovery taught me that I am creating another prison. I'm prison to the mistake that I don't want nobody to know. That rules me. I don't rule it. So for that situation not to happen, Robert must admit to his faults and his mistakes. That way, it's not a prison or holding me accountable like I'm on probation and parole. It's the same type of prison that addiction gives you, but it's just something different. Paying attention to Robert diverts him from making major mistakes, but Robert still makes mistakes because he's an imperfect person. When I used to judge people by the mistakes they made, which caused me to live in hurt and pain all the time. Now, I believe in a good book. The good book says, if I put my trust in men, they will fail you each and every time. They will hurt you. And I didn't understand that. I didn't believe that. But I do, because we're imperfect people. We act on our own point of view the way we see things. We make our own decisions how we feel about things. So, something to think about, isn't it? Life is precious. And I realized that I was spending a lot of time on wrong thinking, which was hurting me to live my best life. While putting myself in a prison of pain that somebody did something to me, to hold it against them forever. And I'm living rent-free in my own head about a situation that happened before because I want to hold on to that pain. But the program of recovery says, Robert, you need to let these things go. Forgive yourself, forgive those people for harming you, and move forward. and letting it go, giving it to a power greater than you to relieve it from you so you can be restored. That you're an imperfect person just like they are. And you believe in the good book that says, how can you ask God for forgiveness if you won't forgive your fellow man? That's another way of looking at it. But the bottom line is that if I carry the emotional and the mental pain, let it live rent-free in my head, that's my prison. I created my prison. I'm not letting it go. And that can slowly lead me down the rabbit hole into active addiction. But also what it does, it stops Robert from growing, being the best that he can be for himself. And when he does that, he's the best that he can be for others. When you realize that everybody's imperfect and make mistakes, then you want to work on yourself. You want to make yourself better. And then you look at the people that make mistakes that we love and care about. If they make a mistake with us, we know that 85% of it wasn't intentional and wasn't meant for us. It was a means to do what they needed to do for themselves. It had nothing to do with us. It's more or less self-preservation. I need this to live my life. And this is the only way I know how to receive this. And it had nothing to do with us. It had about survival for themselves, because this is their only means and ways to survive. When you look past that, you see the truth. But when we think that it's all focused on the person, we miss the whole story. Being and knowing that we're all imperfect and we make mistakes, and also we do what we can to make sure that we survive life on life's terms. And this is by what you've learned how to survive. You use your own tools, what you know that works for you. It has nothing to do with a person getting hurt in the process. When I'm keeping the focus on myself, I'm learning more about Robert and understanding that I've created a person that can truly do damage to himself if he don't pay attention to himself, which keeps me humble, because I know I can make a mistake. So recovery teaching me a lifestyle, not a set of rules, but a lifestyle of constantly checks and balances on Robert. And by me having these checks and balances on Robert, Robert stays clean. Robert has a good life. Robert has inner peace. Oh, yes, you have ups and downs. That's a part of life because we're imperfect people. But they're just issues. They're not problems. Robert can make it a problem by looking at it the wrong way and feeling a certain way and letting it live rent free in his head. Then it becomes a problem. But if I look at the issue, it's not a problem. This is Robert Goodman here on Positive Strokes, Staying Clean, talking about your level of recovery, because we got to keep growing. To stay clean and sober, to have a fruitful life in recovery, to feel good, not be angry at 20 and 30 years, 40 years, but you should still have unmountable joy and happiness of where you came from, how much you've accomplished, and the blessings that you have. And you should have so much inner peace, and nothing should be living rent-free in your head. And you should be able to show that love for recovery, that appreciation for coming out of hell into living life on life's terms, and creating a new life for yourself. Because in recovery, you let go of all the things that was destroying you, and you try something that you have no idea where it's going to lead you. And when you're in recovery, you don't know where it's going to lead. You may think you know, but trust me, recovery takes you down your own path for you to live your best life. And everybody's path is different. You can't judge your path by somebody else's, or somebody else's path by yours. You sit back and keep doing the next right thing. Keep working on yourself, understanding that you are a fallible person, that you'll always make mistakes. But if you pay attention to yourself, you don't make major mistakes. You just make situations that you can correct. And as long as you keep correcting it, letting it go, giving it to a power greater than yourself when you make that mistake, and letting it go to that situation to take care of it, your life gets better. And the things around you doesn't destroy your peace, which cause you to lose focus, which cause you to go right down the rabbit hole. I hope I shared some things with you today, this morning, that will help you with your recovery. Understand this, that you are the most important person to yourself. You've done the work. You've created a life for yourself. So keep moving forward and keep understanding that you don't want to create nothing to cause you to be in prison with something. Your imprisonment that you know that you had was your addiction. Don't let nothing else take that place, because you did too much work to get where you at today, to have what you have today, to be grateful for what you have today, and to have a life far beyond your dreams. This is Robert Goodman, wishing you a great and wonderful Sunday, and I'll see you soon.